Now, as this is going on, I think the most important thing you're doing that's helping the process along is actually learning about them. So the preparation for these meetings is more not about planning what you're going to say, it's about planning what you're going to ask. So that by the time you finally do present them with a proposal for what they might give money for, you're going to know the kinds of things that excite them, so you can actually offer them a gift idea tailored to them. And you'll also know about how they prefer to be asked, and so that you'll be able to, in a sense, be a much better friend to them and meeting their needs. And as I said in the video about one-to-one asking, the relationship needs to take precedence, and the person, and you're valuing that person and their needs and preferences ahead of the money, is a critical part of moving this process forward. Now, if you're wondering what kind of questions do you ask, you know, when I meet with a philanthropist for the first time, I usually tell them, this is the purpose. I gave it to their assistant, now I'm giving it to them. Well, here's my thinking about this meeting. I learned this, this, and this about you, and I'm interested in things like that as well, and I thought we just might try to get to know each other a little bit, and a little bit what you're working on and what you're excited about, and I'll share with you what I'm working on that I think is related and that I'm excited about. And then at the end of this, we'll see if either or if both of us feel that there's reason for us to do something else together. So in prepping for the meeting with this person, there's really only two kinds of questions you need to worry about. Write down questions of what you want to say to them. I mean, ask them. So my favorite question, frankly, is, well, we don't know each other very much, but I'm quite curious about you. Maybe you'd be willing to share with me what it is that you're involved with right now that excites you the most. Now you listen and jot down a few notes, but you're really listening to what they care about, what is important to them. And it's like, you know, I noticed that you might even bring some things. You know, I read a newspaper article about you being involved with this. And I'm wondering if you could share with me kind of what motivated you to get involved in that. You don't want to start right off finding out who they know and how they can help you and how much money they have or any of those kinds of things. You're really there to explore what your common ground is. And you're really looking at it from a motivation and intent. So the second kind of question you want to create are things that you could ask of them, like in this thing I was saying about educate, engage, and request. For example, like you might say, hey, this is a sample request. And so at the end of the meeting, it was kind of fun, you feel sort of connected, and you can say, hey, we actually have a meeting with Barbara Boxer's staff next week, and I'm wondering if you'd be interested in going. That's an example of a request question. So you want to think about those in ahead of time so that you're not sitting there like, because often this will happen, you go completely blank. You can't think of anything to invite them to do. So when you're preparing for this kind of a meeting, you want to write down the questions you're going to ask them to get to know them better. And then you're going to write down a list of possible requests that you could ask of them. I always use a blank tablet, and I put a paper clip in the side so that I can flip to it and then drop it back down that has those two lists. So I have a paper clip on the side and then a paper clip at the bottom. So I have these two lists I'm looking at so that if I do go blank, I completely know what it is that I can look it up and not have it be a big distraction. And so the thing that I'm going to say about people are going to want to know what their money is going to. And part of your preparation is being prepared to answer those kinds of questions. What would my money be used for? What difference will it really make? And so one of the best ways I think to prepare for that is to actually make a list of those questions that you hope they don't ask and start to construct what are your best answers. If you're part of the fundraising team, this is the kind of thing we talk about on the calls. You know, what are we going to say about this? Or this donor wanted to know about that. And definitely at the staff level, we're doing more and more about what would $50,000 for a ledge office really do, for example. And so people can begin to actually help the donor understand what difference their contributions are going to make. So I think that the main thing that I wanted to leave you with in this is that if we're going to raise the kind of capital to actually build the infrastructure of peace. It's my personal goal to get $2 million a year, $1 million for the Peace Alliance and $1 million for the Institute. That's my goal. And I don't know if I'm 2 years from that or 5 years from that, but I think we can get there. But what it is going to take is cultivating a lot more people to make bigger gifts. And many people know people who are philanthropists that are even family members. And for you to be willing to be the liaison between our organization and somebody who has potential giving, a potentially large giver, would be really, really helpful and might be a part of our volunteer work that excites you. And I work directly with people who are cultivating large givers. In some cases, if depending on the size of the gift, I might actually get involved in coming into town, and we would find ways to integrate the cultivation of this person with the rest of the Department of Peace work that's going on in that area or region. So good cultivation is a lot about relationship. It's a lot about integrating them into your existing campaign, about bringing them and bringing out their passion for peace. And so it isn't that different than things that you're already doing in bringing new volunteers in, or bringing in the members, the congressional members themselves. And I'm really interested in if you're interested in doing this, send me an email, lynn@thepeacealliance.org. Let me know you're interested in getting involved in it, and start your list of people you might know. Go out to lunch with people that you know and ask them, you know, if you were going to cultivate some major philanthropists in this city, who are they? And start a list. Who are the top 20 philanthropists in the cities closest to where you live? And begin to consider, how would you go about cultivating them? And this is what the team talks about, and I'm totally interested in helping you, but I wanted to be sure you kind of had an idea of what you'd be getting into should you choose to do it. So be bold. Everybody wants peace.